Good evening and welcome to the late news and sport from ITV Granada. Their headlines. An inquiry is launched into claims a Manchester clothing supplier to Primark was paying workers half the minimum wage. Police investigating a double stabbing in which a father was killed and his son critically injured issue a picture of a man they're hunting. And the 12-year-old and his dog speeding their way to becoming the best in the country. An urgent investigation's been launched by Primark into claims that a Manchester supplier has been paying workers half the minimum wage to produce clothes for the discount retailer. Those in charge of the factory at the centre of the allegations strongly deny any wrongdoing. Our reporter Matt O'Donoghue has the latest.
King of budget fashion retail, Primark has dominated the high street in recent years. They claim large orders and low overheads are how they keep their prices down, but an undercover investigation claims one supplier's found other ways to cut their costs. That company is TNS Knitwear in Ancoats. This warehouse behind me here hides a dirty secret, according to undercover investigators. Clothing made here ends up on the shelves of Primark stores like the one not 2 miles down the road in that direction in the city centre. But while the minimum wage is £5.73 an hour, it's alleged that some staff here are paid just £3 an hour and that illegal labour is used to stitch some of the garments that end up on our high street.
We go and visit as many factories as we can.
On their website, Primark boast how they take their responsibilities to employees seriously. And in a statement to Granada Reports, they say Primark is now conducting its own investigation into this. Once that investigation is complete, it will decide how to proceed.
Any firm in this country that's paying below the minimum wage is in not simple breach, but gross breach of what society, the law has established as the bottom line for people in the workplace. And so any company who are breaching this ought to have the book thrown at them.
Shoppers have been benefiting from cheap clothes from Primark for years. But while the company maintains that it's doing everything it can to make sure that these products are manufactured ethically, do shoppers really care how they're made?
We've got a baby on the way, and the way things are going, you know, it doesn't matter where they're from, where they're made. The point is, it's not us to be able to stop them. We can't stop them being made. You know, we just want to go out and buy them and wear them at a decent price.
What is it that encourages you to shop at places like this?
Because they are cheap, and if people do have a job making cheap clothes, at least then they've got a job.
These stills were taken from Primark's own audit report into TNS. It gave the company a clean bill of health. We contacted TNS Knitwear for an interview, but they denied us access and the allegations.
Police in Wirral investigating a double stabbing in which a father was killed and his son critically injured have named a man they're hunting. Gary Finley is described as dangerous and shouldn't be approached. Graham McKenna and his son Michael were on their way to watch Everton when the attack happened. Ashley Derricott reports.
A father of two stabbed to death, taking his son to a football match. 45-year-old Graham McKenna was a corporal in the TA, having spent 20 years in the regular army. He spent his last moments bleeding profusely on a stranger's doorstep. The same attacker also seriously wounding his 14-year-old son Michael.
He would have been on his way down here to, with his friends who were always here waiting for them to come in and, pick up the bus and go to, Everton, to, watch Everton play with his son, like they did every time there was a home game.
Whatever the motive for this attack, the police are investigating the possibility that Graham McKenna's killer may have been waiting for him. This was a walk he often made on the way to going to watch his beloved Everton, and anyone who knew that would also know the chances were his son was with him too.
46-year-old Gary Finley knew the victim, officers say, through family links. They describe him as extremely dangerous and not to be approached.
We know that he lives in the Wirral area. What we're not clear about at this stage is whether he's still on the Wirral or indeed travelling or attempting to travel down to the southwest of England. We know he has got some connections with the southwest.
Army colleagues describe Graham McKenna as an outstanding soldier and family man. This evening, his 14-year-old son is said to be in a serious but stable condition in hospital.
Well, now a look at some other stories making the headlines tonight. A 13-year-old girl who sparked a major police search when she went missing in Oldham has been found safe and well. Holly King left her home for school early this morning but never arrived. It's understood she was worried about her school grades. A photo has been released by the captors of a Wirral man held hostage in Nigeria, giving his family hope he's still alive. It's 4 months since Matthew Maguire was captured by militants along with other oil workers. His kidnappers are demanding the Nigerian government frees their leader, who's on trial for treason. And football fan Michael Shields has enjoyed his first day of freedom on temporary release from prison. The 22-year-old was allowed to spend Saturday with his family while a government inquiry into his case continues. Michael was given day release from Thorncross Prison in Warrington and spent the day bowling and enjoying a McDonald's. Football and Manchester United's Cristiano Ronaldo's tonight become the first Premier League star to be named FIFA's World Player of the Year. The United and Portugal winger beat Liverpool's Fernando Torres to take the award at a star-studded gala in Zurich tonight. It was presented to him by Pelé. And in Coca-Cola League One, Lee Hughes scored his 14th goal of the season as Oldham beat Hartlepool 2-1 at Boundary Park tonight. Finally, 12-year-old Adam Wildman from Thornton has just entered the history books. He's become the youngest champion in an international competition for dog agility. Ralph Blunsom went along to see him and his faithful pet, Zoom.
Adam has become the youngest ever champion at the International London Olympia Agility Trials.
I've been doing it since I was 4. Because my mum said when you can learn to read the numbers, you can do dog agility. So I used to do it with, before I got Zoom, because she's only 3, I used to do it with a friend's dog called Blue. Yeah, so he was quite slow, but he was quite fun to run with.
Adam and Zoom took the lead in the competition at Olympia before a packed crowd and against competitors from around the world. Zoom had to negotiate a series of obstacles without making any mistakes and in the fastest time. They completed the course with no errors.
I was quite nervous, but I wasn't very nervous because your body language tells the dogs how you're feeling and stuff. So sometimes it affects the dogs. So when we ran, she could tell I wasn't nervous, so we did quite well and we won it. So I was happy.
Zoom is a 3-year-old Australian Kelpie who's taking the competition world in her stride. Her story is also remarkable.
She was rescued from a farm by a sanctuary called Lizzie's Barn in South Wales. We actually saw her on the farm when she was 3 weeks old, and at 4 weeks old she was taken off the farm because the litter was going to get trampled by cattle.
Adam's family runs the Wire Dog Agility Club, which meets at Myerscough College near Preston. What next for Adam and Zoom? More competitions and hopefully more prizes.
Well, now let's see what the weather's doing. Here's Joe.
Time to detox, baby! It needn't be so grim. There are ways to feel much better without sweating in a gym.
Hello again. Well, the cold snap's over. It's been replaced with milder air, but more unsettled conditions this week weather-wise. Wednesday will probably be the best day with some good sunny spells, certainly through the morning anyway. Overnight tonight, we've got quite a good deal of rain for South Lancashire, parts of Cheshire, and that's going to continue for a time. Clearer and drier further north, 3 or 4 Celsius the overnight low under clearer skies, so just low enough for a touch of ground frost there. Moving on to the sun times, it's up at 8:22 and sets at 18 minutes past 4. A wet start again for southern Lancashire, parts of Cheshire, but further north it's brighter, fairly showery start to the day. Most of the showers will begin to peter out later on in the afternoon, and that rain will sink southwards and away, so it's a brighter, drier afternoon to come. 6 or 7 Celsius shouldn't feel too bad as winds are really easing off to a light to moderate westerly. Now looking ahead, Wednesday not a bad day, some good sunny spells around initially. It should remain dry until just after dark when some rain will push in from the west. That rain could be heavy on Thursday, and with temperatures struggling, it's likely to turn to sleet up on the very tops of the Pennines and the Cumbrian Fells. Looking ahead to Friday, dry but rather overcast and cloudy. Temperatures still struggling to around 6 Celsius. Good night, sleep tight.
ITV Regional Weather with BeMyBaby.com.
And that's it from the newsroom for today. We're back in the morning with bulletins in GMTV, but for me and the rest of the late team, we hope you enjoy the rest of the night. Goodbye.